Hello everybody, Joe Bagdones here, and welcome back for another episode of MUV Love Photonmelodies Adoration. Hey, there we go, got a first try this time, let's go. Yeah, it's not the same day, I lied when I said I'd record a second part in the same day. That did not happen. I tried to go to sleep, so that way you can wake up like later in the evening and be like, oh, I'll record a part before going to work. No. I didn't fall asleep until like 7 p.m., and I go to work at 11. Yeah. I did not have a great day. It's the next day, after I came back from work. I slept okay. I kept getting woken up by either it's garbage day, so the garbage truck going around the block, fucking banging, clanging around. Millions of phone calls that weren't spam, but not important enough that I had to answer. Like, I don't care that the phones on base aren't working, and I already know about my appointments that I have. The doctor's office can stop calling me about them. They've called me like 5 times, the automated robot. I've heard it. I know when they are. Anyway, just cracked open a can of coffee. Let's go. Let's do this. Good morning to you, Lieutenant Fulner. Did you really expect otherwise? You encroach on my private space day after day in the exact same manner. Only a fool wouldn't take precautions. I'll pass on your offer. I can't stand her watching over me when I'm so vulnerable. Oh, what a shameful display. And the way she brings her lips so close to mine that they almost touch when I'm sleeping, simply obscene! I'm totally fine. There's nothing wrong with me, Lieutenant. No, I'm sure I'm alright. Why? Because I said I'm okay. Circular reasoning. Anyway, I'm supposed to attend the simulator training as a spectator today. Am I not mistaken? There we go, words. I'm a little tired. Just a bit. I just had lunch, so I'm starting to get sleepy again. So, hopefully I can bust this out and then get a nap in before work. Lieutenant, I could be at death's door, and yet I would somehow summon the energy to attend. Believe me, I wouldn't miss this exercise for the world. Again, the lieutenant suggestively embraces me, in the morning no less. I'm certain now, this degree of physical contact is abnormal, even for a Westerner. Just so you know, Lieutenant, I'm looking forward to seeing the whole of Cerberus in action. I wasn't talking about you alone. I haven't been cold to you. This is the usual me. Well, at least you think we're cool. Whatever you say, Lieutenant. If you would excuse me now, it's time to eat breakfast. I've been an adult all along! Yes, let's do just that. She's pulling my hand again. Oh well, letting her have some small victories from time to time should be fine. It's like when you play with a dog or a cat, you gotta let them win the tug of war occasionally. Yes, those most certainly are.
今回の演習はメインランド島グレートブリテン島にその東に位置するホールセイ島を欧州大陸に見立てて行われる。演習シナリオは例によって例のごとく国連欧州連合軍によるベータ上陸阻止作戦である。
Okay.
状況は次の通り。ドーバー海峡を渡海進行中の超軍団規模ベータ軍が探知され、国連北海艦隊が第一次防衛ラインを形成。S11 爆雷による地対攻撃を行う。第一防衛ラインでおよそ 30% を失いながらも、ベータ軍第一陣が海峡沿岸一帯に上陸を開始。これを第一戦域 第2防衛ラインとして欧州連合陸軍の下方及びマルス部隊が
Okay, I'm tracking so
制
far.
圧により迎撃する。第2防衛ラインを突破した敵に対し、欧州連合の戦術機構部隊が第1戦域に突入し、第3防衛ラインを形成。主演砲撃を背景に優勢なまま戦闘を継続。第3防衛ラインの敵戦力が 30% を切った段階で、地中を侵攻してきた3個師団規模ベータ軍がナップ沿岸に出現。
Alright, where's that on the map?
これに対し東欧北欧連合軍部隊が即応し、第3防衛ラインを伸長。対岸の欧州大陸にも10レーザー級を含む旅団規模のベータ軍が出現する。北海艦隊は全速後退するも 40% の艦艇を開出。艦隊の戦域離脱により主演砲撃の 50% を失った第3防衛線は徐々に後退。国連太平洋艦隊および
There's a lot of stipulations to this exercise.
ALM を含む支援砲撃を開始。重金属運の発生と同
Guess
時
it's
に
more realistic this way.
洋上待機中の我が大隊は10レーザー級の排除を優先破壊目標として
Just forewarning, of course. I'm totally gonna brain dump all this as soon as the briefing is over. You know, par for the course.
セルベルス・ロートの2個中隊による低空侵入。目標選別攻撃により10レーザー級を排除。その後、第2戦域の暫定相当に移行。
Sure.
その後、全戦域、全防衛ラインにてベータの全滅を確認し帰投。本演習の参加艦艇陸上部隊、航空機の選抜隊による艦船本部前のパレードパスをもって演習終了となる。我が大隊は機動遊撃部隊であるがゆえに、今演習においても同様の任務を与えられている。
Cool.
ゆえに、第2戦域でのチョーク低空進行など、最も危険かつ困難な作戦が要求されている。演習とはいえ気を抜けば、落命もあり得ると心得。
Yep, lots of moving parts and big heavy machinery, easy to die.
なお、ベータの出現位置、規模、編成比率は当日を含めシミュレーターでも毎回変更されるものとする。
Makes it, again,
練
more
習プロ
realistic
グラ
that
ムの
way.
説明は以上である。週
各自完全装備で60分後にシミュレータールームに集合。何か質問はあるか？
しかし毎度毎度本当に弾薬と時間の無駄ですね、これは。
どうせ国連官僚
Hey
の
man,
わ
you
が
know,
ままでしょ。
practice
シ
how
ビ
you
リアンコン
play.
トロールだかなんだか知らないけど、戦争気分だけでも味わいたいのよ。
だったら実践を視察に来ればいいじゃないですか。歓迎はしませんけど。
Yeah.
バカかお前ら。国連のお偉方がそんな危険で小汚いところに行くわけねえだろ。そういうクソったらな場所はな、居候や厄介者の社交場ってのが相場なんだよ。
ブラウアーの言う通りだ。たとえそれがクソのような味だろうが、働かない居候が食える飯はイギリスにもない。他にはあるか？なければ以上とする。
How interesting. This scenario prepares for two things at once, a large-scale landing from the continent and an underground incursion. Victory in this operation obviously hinges on the elimination of the heavy laser class. Just as I expected, Service Battalion has been entrusted with that crucial responsibility. Heavy metal clouds notwithstanding, Service's job is still extremely difficult. It's no easy task for two companies to rush into the Beta-occupied continent and eliminate several dozen heavy laser class. Should they fail, the rest of the forces will need to buy time with indirect saturation supporting fire till another strike force can be dispatched. Splitting your forces further while dealing with the landing enemies won't simply increase casualties caused by the lasers. No, the overall loss ratio would likely double. Worst case scenario, Dover Complex could lose a vast amount of men and firepower, leaving them in a precarious situation. They probably wouldn't be able to withstand another large-scale invasion. Maybe training, but the assumptions they will be fighting under are harsh. As I thought, Europe's situation is dire. What's most shocking, though, is their palpable contempt for the United Nations forces. Yeah. I mentioned it in the no longer existing Unlimited playthrough, but oh man, yeah, most regular standing armies really don't fucking like the UN. They mean well, I hope. They're just not very competent, or effective, or good at anything. In fact, they tend to make things worse a lot of the time. Is that a widespread sentiment among the European Union forces? Or is it limited to Cerberus because they are a quick reaction force, meaning most of their missions involve cleaning up the UN's mess? Maybe I'm overthinking this. Complaints about the upper brass are common everywhere, and considering the Bundeswehr have been incorporated into the United Nations forces, the UN military leadership would be the natural target of their grievances. Now that I think about it, it may very well be that the United Nations is to the European Union what the United States is to Japan. Understandable, considering, you know, most European forces no longer have a centralized command structure because their countries don't exist anymore. Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Farnhorst? Why does she want to talk with me? Whatever it is, I'm innocent.
That's
The game plan. Yes, she's shown me the way before. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your concern. Yes, ma'am. Don't give yourself a concussion with that salute, my guy. Whew. It was just an ordinary conversation, but despite my calm demeanor, my hands are drenched in sweat. Yeah, it's like that whenever I talk to a woman, too. A living legend straight out of the history books, the White Wolf Queen. Just hearing her say my name was nerve-wracking, to the point where images of the shower room incident flashed through my mind. Heavens, that regretful affair. Indelible in my memories is her disapproval. The way the lieutenant looked at me with eyes full of disdain in the locker room, even though my innocence had long been established. Oh well, in 1 hour, I'll finally be able to witness the second lieutenants, nay, the whole Cerberus battalion, in battle with my own 2 eyes. 3 of the 7 heroes will take part in this exercise. I cannot afford to look away from the battle, not even for a second. I know this is mere simulator practice before the real exercise, but the Joint Integrated Visual Emulator system ensures that things will feel as close to actual combat as possible. That's a fucking set of words. Jives is an amazing piece of technology that accurately replicates visual projections of the beta, the scenery, and other TSFs. Not to mention, it can also faithfully reproduce sensory feedback such as shock and acceleration based on actual combat data. I have some first-hand experience with it myself. Even though I was aware it's only a simulation, my mind had trouble telling apart what's virtual and what's real. Before you know it, you're completely immersed. Yeah, VR does that to you. Even fucking shitty, low-res, like, can't see very good VR. You know, your brain just fucking gets in its, like, fucking jive, and it's like, it just tricks itself. It's close enough that, like, your brain just fills in the gaps. However, Jives was created to be used in non-live-fire training exercises with real machines. I have never heard of it being used in live-fire scenarios to emulate the enemies involved and the damage incurred. Quite intriguing, actually. But of course, Lieutenant Fulner, because I'll finally be able to see the famous Cerberus battalion in action. I expect the performance of a lifetime. Great. Now then, I think I'll head to the simulator room by myself. You must focus on your preparations for the exercise, Lieutenant.
ありがとう。じゃあまた後でね。
Yes, ma'am. Same as the usual, huh? Does that mean they can afford to perform as usual? Oh god. As usual, I guess. I guess that's right. I just don't like it. I have to say, that makes Cerberus sound surprisingly efficient. An impression I didn't quite get during my everyday life on Dover Base. But what do I know? Lieutenant obviously has a lot of combat experience. I'm sure she can handle situations like these perfectly. Perhaps she even becomes sort of an old hand already. I'm truly looking forward to this exercise.
シミュレーター演習開始10分前である。
Well, red it definitely stands out.
ノート中隊処刑登場の時間だ。
Fucking Iron Man looking ass.
真壁候補生は管制室からモニターするように。
Yeah, so try to show off. Show how cool you are. Yes, sir.
結果的であれなんであれ。飛型がこのシミュレーター演習から得るものは多かろう。
Yes, sir. I'm sure I'll learn much from watching Cerberus do battles, Captain.
さて、我が輩も登場するとしよう。
Whatever the outcome may be. Now, that is one ambiguous way of phrasing it. I wonder what the captain meant. No, well, I have plenty of time to figure it out later. Right now, I should pay attention to Cerberus's performance. Captain Gerhard Raulerstein, the Sonic Baron, leader of the Road Company and one of the 7 heroes of Great Britain. This is my chance to see whether he truly lives up to his lofty reputation. And Lieutenant Fulner, what skills may she be keeping secret? Oh, please show me. Prove that you're a worthy member of Cerberus. Ugh. Oh god, yellow light, gross.
警備要員は直ちに所定の位置まで交代せよ。繰り返す。シミュレーター起動まで300秒。
Wow, that's really disorientating. I don't like that. Let's get past this scene so the flashing light stops. Now that was interesting. The Empire could learn a thing or two from how Cerberus fights in close quarters. Plus, their novel tactics are nothing to scoff at. Quickly jumping back to changing light colors. Oh man, I really don't like that. Usually when like we're prepping the plane, we have to check like all the different lights, and there's like a white light, green light, and red light for like the cargo compartment. And when you're like doing those checks, it's super fucking like, it makes your eyes feel weird when you switch from like the white light to the green light or something. Because just like the way your eyes try to adjust from how everything changes, it like, it's weird. It's not quite disorientating, but you can feel like your eyes like trying to dilate and like focus in and like figure out what just happened. And it's really, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but it's just odd. Seeing the Typhoons live made me realize Lieutenant Witzleben was right when she said it's similar to Japanese TSFs in design and operation. I can't say it was a bad showing, all things considered. However, my imagination exceeded reality. To be perfectly honest, the Cerberus Battalion did not live up to my lofty expectations. I couldn't monitor anyone outside the Road Company, so I'm not sure if this actually extends to the whole battalion, but their teamwork left something to be desired. Captain Raulerstein's movements were indeed out of the ordinary, but I still get the impression the 7 Heroes' reputation has been blown way out of proportion. Truly disappointing. There must be at least several Royal Guard service pilots who are just as proficient in combat as he is, or even surpass him. But I only have myself to blame. Nobody forced these unreasonable expectations on me. Yeah, you know what they say, never meet your heroes. Good work out there, Lieutenant Fulner. What's the matter, Lieutenant? Please, there's no need to feel bad about that. It would be inaccurate to say Lieutenant Fulner is unskilled, but regretfully, I have to admit she is completely right. She failed to stand out in any way.
急いで着替えていたと思えば、やはりな。西洋の騎士と東洋の武士が惹かれ合う。なんて麗しいのかしら。
Again, please don't ship your coworkers. My compliments on job well done, Lieutenants. Lieutenant Falkenmeyer's performance as a Storm Vanguard was spectacular. It's no surprise she excels in her role, otherwise she couldn't keep up with Captain Raulerstein after only having been commissioned for half a year. Another note, watching Lieutenant Witzleben was quite an experience. Though she seemed to be moving too much in her role as a rear support blast guard, she still provided precise covering fire while zooming around the battlefield, hitting the right targets at the right time. They all belong to the same batch, but I would certainly place Lieutenant Fulner a step or two beneath them. Cerberus may not have lived up to my expectations, but they are a very competent fighting force. Anything less would have been unthinkable anyway. The members are all hand-picked from the elite after all. And yet, from what little I was able to see, I can't say there was a vast difference compared to other regular service pilots.
もう終わったことは仕方がない。お腹も空いたし、早く食堂に行きましょう。まあ、はしたない。清十郎君の前ですわよ、イルフィ。
I mean, I like a girl I can eat.
少しは落ち着いたらどうなんだ。清十郎が呆れてるぞ。
No, I don't really care, really. Isn't this the usual for her anyway?
ちょっと清十郎、それどういう意味？そのままの意味に
It means you're kind of boorish.
自分が活躍したからって。あら、終わったことは仕方がないのではなかった？
I admit they are good people, but I can't condone service pilots acting as carefree right after an exercise. They should be reflecting, rather sternly at that, on their lack of results. Well, as real as it might feel, Jive still is nothing but a simulation. And Cerberus must be used to real combat, so maybe them not treating simulations with all due seriousness is just par for the course? I'm sure it's going to be different in the upcoming European live fire exercise. Facing off against other countries will not fail to bring their competitive spirits to the fore. That's when I expect them to perform closer to how they do in the field. I know I'm repeating myself, but I can't let the national funds that brought me here go to waste. Can't lose faith, not this late in the exchange. Have to believe there is plenty to learn from the following exercise. Ooh, those are some long paragraphs. Lieutenant Fulner and the others should be on standby in their rooms right now. The carrier is scheduled to depart early tomorrow morning. The final maintenance check on the TSF should be done by now. And yet there's still a chance that they'll break. Because everything always breaks as soon as it's ready. It's ready for go time. Lieutenants may have preparations to make for tomorrow's voyage, so I was guided to the mess hall by an administrative official and had to eat dinner alone. I'm done with today's scheduled activities. This might be the first time since I entered military school that I've had the luxury of having too much free time for myself. Good grief. Being around Lieutenant Fulner all day always makes me exhausted, but in a way, it is lonely without her. What the hell am I thinking? Ridiculous, I'm not a child. I have absolutely no trouble coping with whatever comes my way, even if she isn't at my side. Inconceivable. I was only thinking about her personality and the way she acts. I mean, it would feel lonely if that cheerfulness went away. Listen to yourself, Seijiro. I'm not lonely at all. I'm just impatient. Yes, that's it. And I've got even more impatient after witnessing today's simulator training. That's why, and this is highly unusual for me, I can't settle down. I know I can't quite judge their performance when they have yet to use real TSFs, but it's Jives we're talking about here. Logic dictates the results must be very close to the real thing. Even if Cerberus deems a mere simulator not worth taking seriously, one does not simply overcome sensory deception at that level. Curses. I can't help thinking my worries are justified. Might be nothing worth my attention during the live fire maneuver either. I would have no time to feel conflicted if I were with Lieutenant Fulner, but at the moment I'm not, which is why I'm overly conscious of the fact. And that can only mean that I'm not lonely at all, yes! Whatever you say, man. Oh god, fucking Latin. It's not quod, no, it's quod. Quod erat Demonstrandum. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Demonstrandum. There we go. You know, for someone who took 3 years of Latin, I'm real fucking bad at it. In the unlikely event there is nothing to be learned from Cerberus in terms of military matters, I would have no choice but to bring home something else that can only be found in Europe. Let's not forget that it's the subjects of the Empire who have funded all my travel expenditures through their hard-earned taxes. If I go home empty-handed, everything would have been for nothing, meaningless. What? When have military operations ever proved to be totally meaningless in the long run? I have no idea how you could ever get that idea in your head. No. Not only would it be meaningless, I'd be committing fraud. Not just me, but House Makabe would also be liable for my actions, and the Royal Guard as well. So after giving the matter some careful consideration, the most suitable alternative is to bring home with me would be the Spirit of Chivalry. Yep, that's the consolation prize. Now, I'm right back where I started. Thinking about it, I can't say the simulator exercise was a complete waste of time. At the very least, it made me realize how carefree they are. Instead of the usual discipline you see on the front lines, these men and women partake in frivolous diversions with alarming regularity. Worse, that isn't even accounting for their lacking manners they isn't even accounting for the lacking manners of some of their members. There we go. There's a "the" in there. And while I'm confident all my observations are the objective truth, I have to admit they also successfully completed their mission. The performance was far what I had expected from a supposedly legendary unit, but I would argue they fared far better than the average force would have in their place. So how can we explain this discrepancy? Could it be they're not as individualistic as I thought? After all, they couldn't have achieved victory without sharing some sort of subconscious bond. I'm sure this tacit knowledge is the traditional spirit of chivalry that dwells in each pilot. It's what leads them to perform beyond their individual capabilities. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. Here I thought I could learn about chivalry by watching Cerberus in action and compare what I see to the precepts of Bushido. Thinking about it now, that approach might have obscured the true nature of what I wanted to learn. Frankly speaking, the only thing I know is that I know nothing about the spirit of chivalry. But at the very least, today's simulator exercise has set me on the right path. There's just one last chance to accomplish my task: tomorrow's joint exercise. I couldn't sleep, so I came here. I'm standing in front of Lieutenant Falkenmeyer's room, but I'm having trouble mustering up the courage to enter. It's been several minutes now, but I've been hesitant to knock. Gonna go try to get some words of wisdom from the most knightly person you know. Should I even ask her directly? Is that something Lieutenant Falkenmeyer would condone? These past few days, I've been trying to obtain something. However, to my shame, I still haven't determined what exactly, I haven't determined exactly what I'm looking for. There we go. I put the what in the wrong spot. Of course, I've learned a lot of minor things, but it all comes down to mere trivia. The valuable resources of the Empire finance my stay in Europe. I have to ensure I can return home with my head held high. If there's nothing else I could do, at least I want to catch a glimpse of the European spirit of chivalry. There we go. Words, words, words. Naturally, I don't plan on this being a one-sided deal. Since Lieutenant Falkenmeyer has shown clear interest in Bushido, we are in a perfect position to learn from each other. That is mere sophistry. Nothing but cheap words to justify my actions. I need to stop lying to myself. Lieutenant Falkenmeyer always felt the closest to a real samurai, to my own sensitivities. That's the sole reason why I'm trying to force her into the role of my noble confidant. In the end, I'm simply taking advantage of her. But I need to do this. What? What was that just now? Was that seductive voice coming from Lieutenant Falkenmeyer?
ダメよ。ダメだったら。
You stupid idiot. Of course it's her voice. It's coming from her room. Who else could it be? This is why we knock.
ダメ。もう我慢できない。
This is incredible. I've come at the worst of times. She's speaking German, so I don't know exactly what she is saying, but the tone of her voice is enough for me to understand. Behold how the language barrier is broken. No, I think she's just like gushing over a plushie or something. Good Lord Almighty! Why am I acting like this is out of the ordinary? She's a service pilot, but a woman first and foremost. And we're on the front lines here. It's only natural she craves human warmth. Wouldn't be strange at all for a pure and beautiful noble woman like her to have been courted by a man or two. She could easily have 4 or 5 fiancés by now. I don't think that's how that works.
体が熱い。喉が渇く。そうだ。こんな時は濃縮還元合成バナナオーレに限る。PX 行ってくるから、ちょっとここに座ってて。
What would double banana be? I'm going to assume banana flavored with chunks? This is the last night before she has to sortie for the live fire exercise. No matter how unlikely, death is a real possibility. For the lieutenant and her partner, their time together must be worth more than anything. Sure? It's regrettable, but it seems I won't get another chance to consult with the lieutenant. Even so, it'd be cruel of me to deprive her of...
ごめんね。すぐ戻るからま。
Good face, good face.
何か聞こえたか。
Not a thing.
何か見たか。
Not a thing.
そこで何をやっている。
You want to talk about chivalry? I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lieutenant. There was something I wanted to ask you about. I only got here a few seconds ago and was about to knock. Father, brothers, all of my Makabe ancestors who sit in heaven, I ask for your guidance. This may go against the family's long-standing prohibition on lying, but for once Makabe Seijiro needs to be practical. Not a decision I'm taking lightly, by any means, but I'm prepared to shoulder this sin for the rest of my life. I want to protect what is important to her. This is a transgression I shall not regret.
では、中で聞こう。
What? Come on in? Could this be the point of no return? What are you going to do, Seijiro? It'd be highly suspicious to refuse her offer, but her companion must still be inside. It would also smell like sex. Fucking that funk, it sticks around, especially in the fucking a dorm room like that. No ventilation. Bruh. You better have some Febreze. Wait, that's it! Of course! Lieutenant is surely aware that a samurai is forbidden from bending the truth. Since I said I saw and heard nothing, Lieutenant is acting as if there was nothing. And it's because she won't allow me to shoulder this blunder on my own. Sure. Mother of God! She is a true knight! As a samurai, I would bring shame upon myself if I were not to respond in kind to her gallant spirit. And respond I shall! Even if there is a man stark naked inside the room, and the air is so thick with the lingering aroma of his Johnson that I might choke. It shall not be a problem. I will simply ignore the remnants of his presence.
どうした？遠慮はいらぬ。奥まで。
Yes, please excuse me. Heavens. What? There's no one here? That would surely mean her partner found a place to hide in the 2 minutes or so we were talking outside the room, all without making a single sound, without leaving any evidence behind. It's simply impossible. First of all, this room is simply too small. There's no place where a grown man could possibly hide. Not to mention, there's absolutely no trace of their nighttime activities. The sheets are clean, and I can't spot a single stain. Oh, B, his discretion is admirable. Your man must be a master of stealth. Maybe he's taking advantage of the marvels of West German architecture to hide from me before I could notice? No. No one could fit inside the locker, which only leaves the shower.
そういえば少し汗ばんだのでシャワーを浴びようと思っていたところでな。
Is this place full of mind readers? No one's in there?
どうだ清十郎、浴びていくかなんて。
The lieutenant is desperate to prove her innocence, but at this rate she'll end up revealing her partner's hiding spot. Oh, what should I do? The awkwardness could be too much. Wait a second. Is that a teddy bear? I like his vest. Why is there an object that wouldn't look out of place among the belongings of a little girl sitting in plain sight in the room of a woman as dignified as the lieutenant? Oh, I finally get the picture. And here I was thinking she was with another gentleman. But there's only her and this cute teddy. Are you for real? Oh no. Inconceivable. Good noises. This is madness! Lieutenant, as steadfast as a cliff against the waves of the ocean, is filled with shame to the point where she could be reduced to a whimpering maiden. Could it really be? Indeed, 'twas I. So it was you. Please keep looking after Lieutenant, my little friend. Look, man, nothing wrong with it. Be at ease, Lieutenant. A samurai's oath is sacred. I promise to say nothing I saw. Thus, I am duty-bound to take this truth to my grave. A glimpse of Bushido. In the forced stoicism of Lieutenant Falkenmeyer, I have witnessed a precious glimpse of the samurai code. This is a fortuitous development, one that has made me realize how much I've been fixated on the difference between Bushido and chivalry. However, this was not a fruitful line of inquiry. Today I have seen the truth in the lieutenant's tears, a medium that transcends the barriers of language and culture. Now that the bond between samurai and knight has been forged, I can only laugh at how insignificant the difference in our values are. I guess you were right, Lieutenant Falkenmeyer. Virtue is a matter of deeds. It is only thanks to your sacrifice that such a valuable lesson could be engraved upon my soul.
では、話を聞こう。
How dignified she looks when she's trying her hardest to suppress her shame. The secret she wants nobody to learn about may be exposed, yet she's trying her utmost to remain kind and considerate. You see, I've run into a problem, kind of a serious one, I might add, and I wanted to ask for your guidance. I'm only going to ask for her counsel. Ultimately, it's up to me to decide how I should proceed. How should I proceed? Decide how I should proceed. Yep.
お前が直面している問題?
Yes, cutting to the chase, I've started to think I may not gain anything of value from my stay here. Truth be told, I sort of feel lost about the matter. I think it all boils down to unreasonable expectations. I got carried away after hearing about the exploits of the legendary Cerberus Battalion. There was no way reality could live up to my lofty expectations. There's no point in hiding my doubts. I will speak plainly and give her my honest impression of Lieutenant Fulner and the unit as a whole. I cannot concern myself with Lieutenant I should not concern myself with what Lieutenant Falkenmeyer might think. All I should care about is how to repay the people who sacrificed so much to send me to this faraway land. Nothing else matters. Just gonna... Guess we're gonna get a flashback eventually. The European live fire exercise. We depart from Dover Complex at 4 in the morning, and it'll take about 20 hours to reach the Shetland Islands. During this time, Cerberus has allowed me to tour the inside of the first aircraft carrier Typhoon. And I did appreciate it, of course. What I was not so keen on was having Lieutenant Fulner as my guide. The experience was excruciating. Halfway through the tour, it was me who took the role of guide. I had to explain the functions of every single facility in the ship. Good grief. Cerberus will charge at the beta under the cover of the heavy metal clouds. Once the heavy laser class beta are eliminated, they'll shift to mopping up the remaining enemies in the area. There's no doubt the battalion has been assigned the most critical and most demanding task. It's obvious they're considered an elite fighting force. I still have my doubts about them, to be honest, but I guess I should try to observe the live fire exercise free from any preconceptions. Luckily, this is not my first time at the rodeo. I think I'll be able to determine Cerberus's actual battle prowess without much difficulty. Above all, I should get closer to the actual meaning of chivalry. I can only pray my time here won't be for nothing. Which reminds me of Lieutenant Falkenmeyer's words from yesterday. Okay. So? I see. So that's how it is. Not entirely unexpected, I suppose. Okay. I can accept that. Thank you very much, Lieutenant. I appreciate your candor. I wish I could be as confident as you are in my capabilities, Lieutenant. Sadly, I fear I'm not quite there yet. At the very least, however, my path has become clearer thanks to your words. I'll do whatever it takes to find my answer in the little time I've got left. I'm determined to leave with no lingering regrets. No regrets. Thank you very much for listening to me, even though it's right before the sortie. I won't take any more of your time. Huh? Yeah, I can see that. You feel like you have the responsibility to be this fucking Ubermensch soldier because you're part of this elite unit, but then it's like, you get there and it's like, oh shit. Well, if I'm like having issues with this and I'm part of this elite unit, what does that make everyone else? They also have this issue? And the answer is yes. Lieutenant? What was that all about? I think Lieutenant Falkenmeyer was about to tell me something important. Focus. You can think about it later. I need to give the live fire exercise my undivided attention. This will be the crowning moment in my visit, when the essence of chivalry is finally revealed to me. The moment of truth, so to speak. This is where I will learn the lesson worthy of taking back to the Empire. I came to Europe a mere cadet, but I will return to Japan a soldier, ready and willing to lay my life at the line for the people. This is the fate of those born as Makabe. Inconceivable! What, they playing soccer? Apparently, the male pilots have confused the carrier's deck with a soccer field. This is an affront to the exercise. Not really. Give back my excitement I worked so hard to build up. Give it back! How infuriating, I say. Simply outrageous. Just look at them. Do the European people mistake war for sports? No, they get it the other way around. Have you ever seen fucking hooligans after their team loses? But it can always get worse. Case in point, there was also a bunch of female pilots sunbathing on the deck, wearing nothing but swimsuits, of course. And there's another group hiding and holding a fancy tea party inside the hangar. They're treating this exercise like a sunny vacation in the Caribbean. I can understand wanting to relax before things get heated. I really can. But this is overkill. Lieutenant. She's always the same, no matter the time and place. I'm sure she's aware the eyes of all Europe will be on them, but her demeanor hasn't changed in the slightest. Yeah, ocean's boring. They say fucking join the Navy to see the world. Well, the world's like fucking 80% water. I'm aware, Lieutenant. It's just looking at the waves helps me clear my thoughts. What do you think I should pay attention to during the exercise tomorrow? Sure. Okay. If you say so. This may sound disrespectful, but after seeing her performance in the simulator, I don't think there's anything particularly noteworthy the lieutenant could show me. I mean, you can go swimming. It's just, the North Sea might be a little more chilly. If you ask me, Lieutenant, I'm not sure you're supposed to wear a swimsuit during an operation. That's regardless of where said operation is taking place. I realize this is not actual combat, but you will be competing head-to-head against the very best the EU has to offer. Now, I know it's not my place to tell you what to do, but perhaps you should keep your mind focused on what lies ahead. I I'm not getting through to her. The way we think is fundamentally different. I wonder if my colleagues were right. Maybe they've given up on their homelands, or they weren't serious fighters from the start? Oh, that's a bad sound. An alert? But why? We're still a considerable distance away from the exercise grounds. Lieutenant Fulner, what's going on? What?
おい、何やってんだ、エルフリーデ。行くぞ。
行くわよ、清十郎。国連軍大西洋方面第一軍司令部より入電。
読め。
救出命令です。テュフォーン打撃軍は演習計画を即時中止。北欧連合特殊任務戦部隊アウズの救援に至急向かわれたし。以上。
副長、旧ノルウェー西岸ローガラン県スタバンゲルに進路を取れ。
アイサー、北海艦隊の動きはどうなっている？
Probably not good.
国連北海艦隊は現在スタバンゲルに向け移動中ですが、信号の発信源に最も近い戦闘部隊は依然我が艦です。
Ooh, how fun.
テュフォーンヘッドクォーターよりアウズ応答せよ。テュフォーンヘッドクォーターよりアウズ応答せよ。
救難信号の受信から数時間、航路をかなり東寄りに取っておいて正解でしたね。
まあ、信号はベータの支配地域から発信されている。いずれ我々にお鉢が回ってくるのは分かりきっていたからな。
やれやれ、足の速い船に乗るというのも考えものですね。
何を今更。さて副長、慌ただしくなるぞ。
So what kind of engine does this thing have? Is it also a fucking... got a fucking nuclear reactor on board?
清十郎、こっちへ。
Coming.
大隊長入室。
ご苦労、楽にしろ。いい知らせ。
では状況を説明します。本日未明、本艦ヘッドクォーターが北欧連合第38 特殊任務戦部隊アウズより発信された緊急救難信号を受信しました。
Getting their shit stomped.
作戦任務のため旧ノルウェー西岸ローガラン県スタバンゲロ近郊に上陸していた同部隊は地下侵攻してきた規模不明のベータ軍と接触。これにより
Why were
大
they
規模な損
there
害
in
を
the
被
first
ったとの
place?
ことです。即応任務に備えて航路を東寄りに北上していた本艦は先ほど国連軍大西洋方面第一軍司令部より北欧連合部隊の救出を最優先
Yeah, it
する
seems a
よ
little
う
more
命令を
important
受け
than
ま
our
した。
exercise. In order to rescue the Nordic Union force. This is actual combat. The atmosphere in the room makes it obvious enough. Not training, not an exercise, actual combat. There's something weird going on with the people here. They feel different somehow? I could swear they've all transformed into someone else the moment they heard the alarm. Well, yeah, they gotta put their fucking serious hat on. This is the real thing. This is real war.
本艦は現在作戦地域に向け全速航行中。本日深夜から未明にかけての戦闘となる予定だ。毎度のことだが救出対象の作戦内容は詮索するな。
Aw.
我々はただ命令を遂行するのみだ。
Fucking hate Secret Squirrel shit.
以上が悪い知らせだ。いい知らせは
On the plus side, though, you get to occasionally glimpse some cool stuff that you can't talk about.
ということだ。
Otherwise, you probably go to jail and lose your security clearance, which is bad because having good security clearance is really good at putting in your resume when you get out. Standard operating procedure for a strike force to not concern itself with the specific mission of the unit they're supposed to rescue. What baffles me, though, is that they don't seem to care, even when going in blind exposes them to mortal danger. So this is what Lieutenant Fulmer was trying to say.
私たちの任務はここの防衛だけじゃなく北欧から北アフリカまでをカバーする緊急即応展開だからね。要するにデリバリーの便利屋みたいなもの。足の速い空母が集中配備されているのはそれが理由ね。
Fast as fuck, boy! The Bundeswehr's 44th Tactical Armored Battalion is a rapid response unit. As such, they must always be ready to deploy at a moment's notice. That's why the TSFs on board are already prepared for sortie. This is the real face of Cerberus. Now that it has come to this, the time for frivolous diversions has passed. It is time for war, and every man and woman on the battlefield stands ready. In the battalion stands ready to do battle. There we go. Saw battalion in battle, my mind just made up words. Emergency sorties must be so common in the European front that become part of their daily routine. That's exactly why everyone is so easygoing, because Cerberus is aware they could find themselves in mortal peril at a moment's notice.
要救助部隊は現在
Exactly, now you're starting to get
ベ
it.
ータとの戦闘を継続中です。ただ砲弾消耗が激しく厳しい状況に置かれているのは事実。可及的速やかな救助が必要です。彼らが揚陸に使った艦艇のほとんどがレーザー級の餌食になっていて、上陸部隊が独力で
Yeah.
脱出することは不
Trying
可
to
能です。
fucking get back on the boat and just sail off when you got fucking laser shooting at you. Probably not the best option.
この任務は俺も出る。ディオンの隊が別動任務に出ているからな。
Woo, boss man coming along. The battalion CO himself will sortie? The situation is that dire?
真壁候補生。本艦はこれより戦域沿岸部に接近し、艦載機の航続距離を稼ぐ。
Yes, sir. Damn it, my voice. I can't have my fear.
仮に10レーザー級の突発出現があれば、本艦の安全は全く保証できない。確認だが、遺書は書いておくか。
Heavy laser class could show up. Their beams are on a completely different level from the regular laser class. It would take them less than a minute to melt through the heat-resistant armor plating of a battleship like this. Our TSF carrier will not be fighting on the front lines, but that makes no difference. As soon as we cross over the horizon line, we'll be in their effective range. Rapid reaction force and all, I don't know how many anti-laser warheads they were carrying to the exercise. Probably not enough to comply with the demands of actual combat. As soon as we run out of anti-laser munitions, Slow-moving carrier like this becomes a sitting duck. Might as well be dead then. And the Major's telling me in a situation as dire as this, I have no choice but to entrust my safety to others? Yeah, you gotta deal with it. I could very well die today. Before I stand on the front lines as a proud member of the Royal Guard. Before I've even had to... Before I have even... Before I have ever struggled against the 8 minutes of death. There we go. My brain really, really wanted that to be even. I'm shaking? Am I afraid? No, that's ridiculous. Impossible. It's not that I'm shaking in fear. I'm actually trembling with anticipation. Yep, just tell yourself that. Makes it go by better. How pathetic. Why am I trembling like some craven half-wit? I should be ready. It's precisely for moments like this that I've killed myself training every single day. Pretty normal. Oh, God damn it! I'm a son of House Makabe, a service pilot of the Royal... No, that doesn't matter. I'm a Makabe and a member of the Royal Guard, and in death, that doesn't matter at all. In death, all men are equal, just like we are at the moment of our birth. This is the moment of truth, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to... No, I do know. Ridiculous. I think I had to stare death in the face before I could figure out something so simple. What a fool I am. Damn it, my voice is still hoarse. Speak from your stomach. Let your voice be heard, Seijiro. I've been prepared for this since the day I arrived. I wrote my will long before I leaving Japan.
Seijiro.
インペリアルのモノノフに対し愚問だったな。許せ。
I did it. I could speak. Everything Lieutenant Fulner has told me is starting to fall into place. The realization that I have misunderstood her all along has finally dawned on me.
それでは次に具体的な作戦を説明します。真壁候補生、こちらへ。
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. The Carrier's Combat Information Center. Hearing the operator shout orders one after another makes it clear the situation on the ground must be constantly developing.
これが網膜投影用のヘッドセットです。現在、第44戦術機大隊のものと同調させてあります。使い方
Please do not worry. I've already used one of these back in the Empire.
念のため伝えておきますが、戦闘中、私たちはあなたに何もできません。
Yep, just stand in the corner and try not to get in anyone's way. I know. There's no need for concern. I will be fine.
立派ね。安心して。この間は安全だから。
Just keep telling yourself that. Of course. I know she's trying to put me at ease, but hearing such words coming from an experienced crew member is exactly what I need right now. I wonder if I'll be able to keep the same presence of mind when I'm finally deployed. Setting up Japanese language mode, and done.
セルベルスツバイより真壁候補生。機関は艦船部艦として扱われ、大隊の部隊間通信および映像の一部視聴が許可されます。
Makabe here. Thank you. I appreciate your consideration.
艦船に際してメインチャンネルはローテツベルフに設定。セルベルスツバイよりローテツベルフ接続を確認せよ。ローテツベルフ接続を確認。感度良好、問題なし。清十郎、ちゃんと繋がってる？
Yep, coming in Lima Charlie, my guy. Makabe here. I can hear loud and clear.
清十郎の期待に応えられるよう頑張ってくるからね。私の活躍、ちゃんと見てなさいよ。
That's right. I was forgetting something crucial. Lieutenant Fulner also had to sortie, which means she might die today.
そこのあなた、大丈夫ですか？我が隊へようこそ、真壁訓練生。今日から10日間、あなたのお世話をさせていただきます。お見知りを。清十郎は本当真面目なんだから。
And it's not just her. Lieutenant Falkenmeyer and Witzleben have also been commissioned as service pilots for barely over half a year. There's no guarantee they'll survive.
その顔なんか疑ってるでしょ。清十郎
Yes, Lieutenant?
私の目の前であなたを絶対に死なせない。
Huh?
だからちょっとだけでいいから私を信じてね。
I'll be. That's so like her. Yes, Lieutenant. I trust you. Ah, shit. I'm the one who's supposed to be worried about her, but here we are. She'll soon face mortal danger, and she still finds the time to worry about me. Unbelievable. I'm utterly powerless, completely at their mercy. Oh, what a way to drive the point home. Lieutenant Fulner. And everyone in Cerberus. Godspeed.
出撃準備完了。繰り返す。出撃準備完了。セルベルスは所定の手順に従い移動を開始せよ。
Kinda cringe, my guy, but I'll just chalk that up to, getting lost in the moment.
開始せよ。
セルベルス出るぞ。
ヘッドクォーターよりゼルベルス。
And with that, as we're gonna end it here for today, because that's a good cliffhanger, and I don't want the video to go too long, and I'm also tired and wanna get a little nap in, and a little nappy nap before work. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time for the next episode of MUV Love Photonmelodies Adoration Part 5. Yeah, next time will be part 5, maybe, I think. I don't know. I actually forget. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, do all that. Do all that. Bump those numbers, son! Even though I'm pretty sure everyone that watches these is already subscribed. Yeah. Make a burner account and do it again. Catch you all later.